Why the U.S. Embassy choose to support the performance on the musical Hairspray?
Good question. Several reasons. One is it's an opportunity for us to work with the University of Galatz, and particularly the UNESCO Youth Foundation, to promote American culture. And culture, of course, is the soul of any country. And so by promoting this project, we're hopefully giving the audience a window into the soul of American culture. We're working with the University of Galatz, so it's a way to assist with the educational programming here in Romania. And the event itself, the musical, is in English. So it's actually a way to help promote the study of the English language. In fact, one of the actors does not speak English at all, but does her role in English. She plays Motormouth Maybelle, and she does her role completely in English, and you don't realize that she does not speak English until afterwards, so if you talk to her.
She memorized the role?
She memorized, but internalized. So she knows exactly what she's saying and when and why, but she's not fluent in English.
Mr. Ron Hawkins, why the U.S. Embassy choose the University of Galatz?
There's many deserving programs out there. This one in particular because our cultural affairs officer had seen them in a previous program, and we thought what a great opportunity for us to do something in other parts of the country. You know, we have American Corners and other programs throughout the country, and so this was just a way to deepen our ties with Galatz, with that corner of Romania.
Hairspray is about the injustice about adolescents and human rights. Do you think that these subjects are still actually?
Absolutely. Both in my country and in Romania as well. I mean, I think there's a lesson to be learned, or at least you bring something to the table by seeing this. So absolutely, the musical itself talks about a time in the 60s, the early 60s in the United States during the civil rights era. And it's about black and white, and it's about segregation that took place. True, we don't have segregation today in the United States in that sense. But race is still an issue. Diversity is still an issue. It's something that we still are dealing with in the United States. And I think Romania also will be able to draw lessons or at least draw parallels, because diversity is also an issue here in Romania. Romania is a very diverse country. And of course, we feel that diversity is a strength.
They are global issues.
Absolutely. It definitely is something that I think Europe is tackling with in particular right now with this onset of migration coming from the Middle East. It's something that my country is still dealing with in particular. We still see elements of or cries of racism going on. Just recently what happened at the Super Bowl with Beyonce doing a performance, her halftime show. That has sparked a huge conversation in the United States because of her choice of using Black Panther elements, which was, again, a 1960s and 70s civil rights era arm of the civil rights movement. And so that has sparked an incredible controversy of whether or not what she did for her choice of halftime show was appropriate. Was it appropriate in furthering the dialogue between African Americans and law enforcement in the United States? So absolutely, these are broad themes.
The Romanian performance will be in Galatz, Cluj-Napoca and Baia Mare. Will you be there?
I will be there for the Cluj and Baia Mare performances. A colleague of mine will be going to the premiere in Galatz. And in all three of those, we hope for a packed audience and just lots of folks interested in the program. It's a wonderful show. I did get to see the sneak preview, if you will, the dress rehearsal in Galatz earlier this month. And those students have worked incredibly hard for this.
How many students will perform the Hairspray?
Good question. It's somewhere around 20 that comprise the cast. It just is really a well-done show, because not only you have the powerful messages, but you have wonderful choreography. You have wonderful singing. There's a lot of elements that go in, so it's very entertaining. But like I said, it was a lot of work for these students, and they, after meeting with them, they had expressed to me how difficult the piece was. At first they said they were, why did they do this? Why did they agree to do this? And then after they started getting mastery of it, they said, this was great. This was a fantastic opportunity. So I think they learned something. I hope the audiences will appreciate their efforts. I know I was quite pleased with what I saw for the sneak preview, the dress rehearsal, and I think it's just going to be a great time.
this musical have a professionist director?
Yes, the master's program at the University of Galatz, they are professionals. They are theater professionals, and you can see that in the production. Don't go expecting Broadway in New York, because that's not what this is about. This is about, again, a university production, doing an incredible production, powerful themes, powerfully entertaining.
Are there differences between the adolescents in the 60s and the adolescents from now concerning their views on the society?
I think the difference is that perhaps the specific issues are different, but I think the people in general are very similar. If we compare the civil rights movement and the youth of that time demanding equality, justice, fairness for all, I think we can extrapolate and say, hey, didn't we see that in November here, in Romania, in terms of after Collective, youth demanding equality, an end to corruption. Basically, people always want the same thing. They want fair, they want free, and they want the opportunity to make the best possible contributions they can to society and have the best possible quality of life. And so I think that there's not much difference between the generation of the 60s and the generation now. The specific issues perhaps have changed, but in general, the themes are the same. I mean, people want a better and brighter future.
Can the show industry help the human rights?
I think it can, because what it does is it makes people aware of the topic and it gets people having that conversation. So again, no matter which way you fall on the side of Beyonce's recent performance, let's say at the Super Bowl, it gets you talking about it. And that's what's very, very important. And just, last weekend on Saturday Night Live, which is, one of the hysterical shows in the United States, of course, they did a spoof about Beyonce and the whole thing. And yes, they're poking fun at it. Yes, they're having a good time with it, but what they're doing is they're making you have that conversation. And so what I would love to do is people walking out of the theater saying, wow, that was fantastic. Galatz just nailed it. They did a great performance. Wonder how similar this is to today, to the U.S., to what's going on in Romania, and just start having that conversation. Again, working towards promoting inclusion, fairness, tolerance, acceptance.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the interest, and please tell all your listeners to get tickets, although I have to say, I understand that Galatz is already sold out. So go to Cluj, go to Baia Mare, get your tickets. I think there are tickets still available, and I promise you a great time.